Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to everyone who's watching this presentation video. So especially to Miss Shalina and my fellow friends. So today we will presenting about the ethical issues in human resource information system that focusing on three major airlines company, which is the first one we have AirAsia, the second one we have Malaysia Airline, and the third one we have Emirates Airline. So before we are going to start this presentation, let us introduce our group member first. My name is Amira Irani binti Hamadi.
My name is Atira Warda binti Husainku.
Hi, my name is Arini Faika binti Saadun.
My name is Raja Nurayuni binti Raja Ali alias Raja Othman.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurmas Negro Ani binti Rosli and I'm from section 3.
So, let's begin with the introduction of this presentation, which is in the airline industry, HRIS is extremely important, where airlines use HRIS for payroll, scheduling, in performance management, training, and also maintaining employee records. So, because they have thousands of employees, HRIS is very essential. So, next, I will explain the two key concepts, which is employee privacy and consent. So, employee privacy refers to workers' right to control their performance, to control their personal information, and also to ensure it is not misused or accessed without the permissions. Meanwhile, for the employee consent, it is meant for the employees clearly understand and agree to how their data will be collected, be stored, used, or shared. So these two concepts are important because HRIS stores very sensitive information such as personal details, medical records, and also the biometric data. So when the consent is unclear or data security is weak, it becomes a major ethical issue. So the purpose of today's presentation is to analyze how AirAsia, Malaysia Airlines, and also Emirates to manage these ethical issues related to the privacy and also the consent in their HRIS systems. So that is for the introductions. Now let's move on to the company background of these three company. So let's look at the each airline and how they use HRIS. First, we will go to the first one, AirAsia, where AirAsia is a low-cost airline known for its strong digital ecosystem. So they use HRIS for payroll, scheduling, and also employee training. However, their fast digital adoption also increased risk related to data privacy and third-party system. Meanwhile, for the Malaysia Airlines company, Malaysia Airlines use a more structured and policy-driven HR system. So their HRIS manage performance record, payroll, and also staffing schedules. So they actually emphasize the compliance, employee training, and control the data access. So the last one for the Emirates Airlines company, Emirates is a global airlines with very advanced HR technology. So their HRS includes the biometrics and various digital monitoring tools. So they have a strong security, but they also collect the large amount of employee data. And also, it is which raised the ethical concerns. So that's all for the company backgrounds. So that's I will pass this presentation for the next presenter.
We move to case analysis of Asia, which is the ethical issues, the company approach to resolving the issues, and the end evaluation of the effectiveness and the implication of their action. Okay, first that we look to the ethical issues that arise from this case. Okay, Asia HRIS system collected a large amount of the personal data such as name, address, payroll information, medical benefits, and employer records. So, when the ransom attack occurred, this sensitive data was exposed. This incident raised three major ethical issues, which is first, violation of the privacy and confidential. That employee trust the company to safeguard their information, but the failure to protect this details show a breach of the ethical responsibility. And the second one is the weakness in cyber security practices, which is the leak indicate that to the cyber measure were not strong enough to prevent the authorities' access, putting both employer and passenger at the risk. Okay, and the third one is the ethical concern involving the third-party system, which is because of the ASEA use the external systems like HRIS Harris and share the service. So there is a responsibility to ensure the third-party partner to follow the strict and data protection standard. Okay, next, for the company approach, ASEA respond to their breach. Okay, the company complied with the personal data, which is Personal Data Protection Act (PDPA) Malaysia, that require the organisation to protect personal data and notice the individual about its use. ASEA took the several steps. The first one, ASEA update the consent form and privacy notice, which is to ensure the employers were informed about how their data collected, used, and stored. So it is to make the employer trust to ASEA. And then the second one is strengthen cybersecurity measure, which is the company implement to their data encryption, which is multi-factor authentication, and also use the role-based access control to minimize the authorities' data access. So they will minimize about the cybersecurity, and also they will lock the data with a good cybersecurity. And the third one is the improve HR staff training. The employee that handling the HR data receive training on confidentially that to secure the data storage and to make the best practice to avoid human errors. Okay, and the fourth one, it is to ensure the compliance by the third party of vendor, which is the third party system used by ASEA were required to follow strict data protection policy and sign the confidentially agreement, which is, for example, we book the ticket, or the employer use any forms using the third party, so they need to using the policy data protection of the ASEA. So the step show the company's effort to restore a trust, prevent similar incident in the future. Okay, now let we move to evaluate how the effectiveness this action were and what the ethical implication remain. Okay, they have two positive outcome include, which is the improved security and legal compliance, that the stronger safeguard like encryption and control access reduce the chance of the future data leaks. Second one is the employer are better informed. Although some may still struggle to understand the consent form, and at least the information is more transparent. Okay, however, from the ethical concerns still exist, including first, limited transparency. Although the risks are reduced, employer may still not fully understand how their data is being used or shared. And the second one is high dependence of third-party vendor, which is even with the agreement, they are relying heavily on the external system, increase the ethical risk as the company cannot fully control to this environment. So, it been difficult, or because use the third party vendors. And also the third one is the need for the continuous improvement, which is ASEA must continue strengthening process, training, and also the communication to ensure that the employees will fully understand to their rights. So in this summary, the company's response is effective in reduced risk, but ongoing ethical consideration remain. So this is especially to involving the transparency and third-party involvement.
Okay, good morning everyone. For my part, I will presenting the comparison and ethical insight on how AirAsia, Malaysia Airlines and Emirates handle the HRIS ethical issue of employee privacy and concerns. So, all three airlines rely heavily on digital HR system to manage employee data, and this raises important ethical concerns about how data is collected, stored and used. Across all three airlines, we found several key similarities. First is all airlines store sensitive employee data in their HRIS, such as personal detail, performance result, and in some cases, medical and biometric records. Second, all three comply with data protection law like PDPA in Malaysia and PDPL in the UAE. However, employees often sign consent forms without fully understanding what they are agreeing to. So consent is legal but not necessarily informed. They also use similar security measures, including data encryption and restricted access, but still face a common risk when their data is handled by third-party vendors. In short, legal compliance does not guarantee ethical transparency, which is a shared challenge across all three companies. Okay, next let's look at the differences, starting with AirAsia. AirAsia is a most digital-driven airline among the three and uses many third-party HR platforms. While the increases efficiency, it also increases exposure to privacy risks. In 2022, AirAsia may face a major ransomware attack involving 5 million records, which highlight how vulnerable the digital ecosystem is. Their concerns process is digital, but many employees still lack understanding on how the data is shared and used. So ethically, AirAsia struggle with technical concerns versus truly informed concerns. Okay, Malaysia Airlines takes a more traditional policy-based approach to HRIS. They put strong emphasis on compliance, employee training, and internal audits, which help build trust and ethical awareness among staff. However, they also experienced a data leak in 2021 caused by an external vendor. This shows that even with good policies, third-party risks remain a major issue. Ethically, Malaysia Airlines is stronger in transparency but still needs continuous monitoring and better vendor control. Okay, next is Emirates stand out because of its advanced technologies like biometric, digital monitoring and global HR platforms. While they support security and operational control, it creates ethical concerns. So employees may feel a pressure to provide consent because it is a part of the employment contract, meaning the consent is illegal but not fully voluntary. So there is also a risk of over monitoring, which can make employees feel watched or evaluated constantly, affecting moral and autonomy. So ethically, Emirates must balance its high-tech system with a greater employee protection and fairness. Okay, we go to the next slide. Is ethical insight. From comparing the three airlines, several key ethical insights become clear. First, informed consents remain weak across all companies. Employees still do not clearly understand how their data is used. Second, all airlines face a power imbalance where employees have limited control or choice regarding data collections. Third is third-party vendors are the biggest sharers, as in with Asia and Malaysia Airlines. So, and finally, airlines must shift from simply meeting legal standards to ensuring transparency, fairness, and respect for employee autonomy. Okay, next, I will highlight some emerging ethical trends that are becoming increasingly important. So the first trend is a move toward privacy by design, where privacy considerations are built into every stage of the HRIS, not treated as an afterthought. Second is there is a growing demand for simplified and transparent consent processes. Employees expect a clear explanation in a plain language, not long legal documents. So third is a stricter oversight of third-party vendors is becoming essential. Airlines are expected to conduct audits, so enforce a stronger contract and regularly monitoring external data handles. Fourth is employees increasingly want more control over their own data, so including access right, correction right, and transparency over how HRIS influence decisions. Finally, as companies adopt biometric, AI analytics, and digital monitoring, there is a rising concern about employee autonomy and fairness. Technology must support workers, not make them feel surveilled or powerless. These trends show that modern ethical HRIS management is not just about security, it is about protection, employee dignity and trust. So, although AirAsia, Malaysia Airlines and Emirates differ in their HRIS approach, they share the same ethical challenge, with each balancing operational efficiency with protecting employee privacy and meaningful consents. AirAsia is strong in digitalizations, Malaysia Airlines is on policy and trust building, and Emirates in advanced technology. However, all three must continue improving transparency, informed consents, and employee empowerment. That's all on my part. Thank you.
Alright, thank you so much, Nagiva. So now I will compare all these three airlines, AirAsia, Malaysia Airlines, and also Emirates, based on their four aspects, which is solutions, challenges, policy implemented, and also the ethical implications. So now we will go to the first one, which is we will go to the solutions. So how each airline tries to fit the issues. So now when we compare their solution, all three companies actually take steps to strengthen the data security, but the way they do it is very different. So we will go the first one, which is AirAsia. They actually more focuses on improving cybersecurity features like encryption, multi-factor authentication, and also updated the consent forms. So their solutions are more technical because of their digital first environments. So meanwhile, for the Malaysia Airlines, they take a more structured and traditional approach, where their solutions include secure data migration, restricted the access, and also frequent audits. They actually more focused on the internal control and also the employee understanding. And the last one, for the Emirates, they use the most advanced solution, where they align with the global standards like GDPR and use the strong encryption, biometric security, and also the regular global audits. So overall, for the solution, AirAsia focuses on digital security, meanwhile Malaysia Airlines focus on the internal governance, and Emirates focuses on the global and advanced data protections. Now we will go to the challenges on the three company, which is the main problem that faced by each of the airlines. So even though all three use HRIS, their challenges are very different. Like AirAsia, they must struggle with the employees not understanding the consent form, plus high third-party risk due to the many connected system. So their past data breach also affect the trust. Meanwhile, for the Malaysia Airlines, they struggles mainly with the legacy system. Even with the new HRIS, all data still exists, and also the employees very worried about how their historical data is used. And last one, for the Emirates, they face the challenges over collecting sensitive data, especially biometrics. So employees may feel pressure to consent because of employment or visa requirement. So overall, for this, AirAsia challenge is about digital complexity, and Malaysia Airlines challenge is all system, and Emirates challenge is data overload and consent pressure. So that's for the challenges. Now we will go to the policies implemented. What rules is company use? So all the three airlines comply with their national laws, but their policies levels are very different. Like AirAsia follows more Malaysia PDPA and adds role-based access and audit policies. So their policies are strong but still rely on multiple external vendors. While for the Malaysia airline, they also follows the PDPA, but it is stricter in internal policies. So they enforce confidentially, restrict data access, and ensure the regular audits. And the last one, Emirates, they has most the comprehensive policies that they follow UAE's PDPL and global regulations like GDPR. So they also have the biometric data policies and ISO cyber security standards. So to summarize all the policies implemented, Asia and MAS are PDPA driven, and when involved for the Emirates uses international level privacy policies. So that is for the policies implemented. Now we will go to the ethical implications. So impact on how employees and the organizations. So finally we compare the ethical implication. For the Asia, they still face ethical issues due to the unclear concern, limited transparency, and also heavy third-party involvement. Meanwhile, for the employees, they may not feel fully in control of their data. So for the Malaysia Airline, they shows a better employee trust and understanding because of training and transparency. However, ethical concerns remain due to the long-term retention of all data. Meanwhile, and for the last one, the Emirates, it is very secure but more intrusive. So excessive data collection and pressure concern reduce employee autonomy even though the security standards are high. So in short of this Asia struggles with the understanding and transparency. Malaysia Airlines is more employee friendly but challenged by the old data, and Emirates is secure but intrusive and potentially overwhelming for the employee. So for the summary of this comparison, Asia actually faced the ethical issues from digital complexity. Malaysia Airline focuses on structure compliance but struggle with the legacy data. Meanwhile, for the Emirates, they have the work-class security but they collect the most sensitive data, creating concerns about the autonomy and also the voluntary concerns. So that's all for it. Now I will pass this presentation for Irani to make a conclusion.
Okay, for conclusion, what we get from this ethical issue, HRIS brings many benefits but also create the ethical risk. While this system improve the HR operation, so there is the important challenge, particularly around the privacy concern and also surveillance. So the organization must be carefully not to be compromise this principle as they collect and use the employee data. So the legally compliance and ethical practice are foundational. So all airlines are required to follow the privacy laws, but the ethical concern persists, especially when it's come to unnecessary concerns and as a safe data collection. So we must go beyond the meeting legal standard to truly safeguard employees' rights. So the transparency, it also about the transparency and employer empowerment are important. So by this simplifying the concerns of processes are reducing the unnecessary data collection, organization can provide employees with the greater control over their personal information, that leading to more a trustworthy and supportive workplace. Finally, the ethical HRIS or Human Resources International if Harris build trust. Strong ethical governance do not just meet the regulation, but it directly support the employer dignity, moral, and the long-term integrity of the organization. So, based on this summary, it's balancing the benefit of HRIS with careful attention to privacy concern and the ethical practice to help to forward a culture of respect and trust across the airline industry.
Next, I will be presenting an issue analysis on Malaysia Airlines that focusing specifically on the ethical issue related to HRIS. So, the first one, description of ethical issue. Malaysia Airlines use HRS to store and manage very sensitive employee information such as personal details, salary data, and also performance record. Even though HRS is meant to make HR processes more efficient, there are still important ethical concerns that need to be addressed. So, one of the main issue is many employees not fully aware of how their data is collected, how it is used, or with whom it is shared. So, because of this lack of clarity, employees may feel worried or uncertain about the safety of their information. So there is also a real risk of privacy invasion or misuse of data, especially if someone who is not authorized gets access to the HRS. Okay, for example, in previously, Malaysia Airlines informed its Emirates frequent flyer members that their personal data may have been compromised in a system incident. So, although this case involved in customer data, it clearly shows that information within the organization can be vulnerable. So, if customer data can be exposed, employee data stored in HRS may also face the same risk. So this example help us understand why employees are concerned about data privacy and protection. Next, company approach. So moving on to the how the company address these issues. Malaysia Airlines follow with the Personal Data Protection Act PDPA 2010, which ensure that all the data handling activities follow national legal and standards. So the company has also improved its consent form that provide clearer explanation to employees about how their information is processed. So to strengthen the security, access to the HRS is restricted only to authorized HR personnel. Malaysia Airlines also conduct a regular privacy and ethics training to ensure employees understand the importance of protecting data. In addition to that, the company also perform frequent audits to detect any potential misuse or unauthorized access. So all these efforts show that Malaysia Airlines is aware of the risk and is taking proactive steps to safeguard employee information. Next, I will evaluate the effectiveness of these approaches. Overall, the action taken by Malaysia Airlines have helped to increase employee trust and awareness regarding the data protection. So their policies are also aligned with both legal requirement and ethical standard, which is a positive sign. So, however, there are still challenges. The main issue is ensuring that these policies are consistently enforced across the entire organization. So transparency also can be improved so that employees feel more confident about how their data is being handled. This means the company needs to continue updating its policies, improving communication, and also monitoring any new risks related to data security. So overall, Malaysia Airlines does face significant ethical concern related to employee data privacy, but at the same time, the company has taken meaningful action to address this issue through complying with PDPA, improved communication, and stronger security measures. So the earlier incident involving customer data exposure show how important it is for Malaysia Airlines to continue strengthening its data protection system. So with ongoing improvement, greater transparency, and also consistent enforcement, the company can build a stronger trust among employees and maintain high ethical standards. So that's all. Thank you.
I will continue about issue analysis of Emirates. First of all, description of ethical issues. Emirates gather intensive employee information such as biometric, performance and activity logs, raising concern about how much data is truly necessary. Employees may not fully understand how their data is collected, processed, or store, leading to issues of transparency and informed consent. Raise ethical risks regarding fairness, openness, and respect for workers' privacy rights, and especially in a highly digital HR environment. The company approached this issue. Amira aligned its data governance with national law and international privacy framework. Employee information is protected through secure system with restricted access and strong internal control. Lastly, the company outlined how HR and biometric data are collected, stored and managed through documented international policies. The last one is evaluation. Emirate policies support privacy protection, but employees may not feel they have real choice or full control over their data. Legal compliance and strong security help prevent misuse, yet ethical issues remain when consent becomes a condition of employment. Emirates should improve transparency and routinely evaluate data handling practice to respect employee autonomy. That's all from me. Thank you.